Hi, I'm Stewie 3D, and welcome to another episode of Gobbin Off About Tech. It's a bit different this time. We're not doing the gameplay footage because I've got some bits to show you. So, yeah, gonna shrink down my ugly mug in the bottom corner and have desktop in the background. So, yeah, um, I'm a bit late to the party on this one because I've been having all sorts of weird network issues at my house, so I do apologise. But yeah, if you follow tech like I do, and unless you've been living under a rock, you'll be aware that Apple held WWDC the other day. Was it on the 6th? Monday the 6th, was it? No, it was the other day. It was Monday night. Yeah, Apple had WWDC, and just sneakily, HP on the 6th, that's it, HP was on the 6th, had an Omen announcement. They did it via Twitch. And I watched the WWDC because it was at 6 o'clock. I was after work. Because I like to watch Apple stuff, usually to see how expensive stuff is and dream about things I could never afford. Although, to be honest with you, I watched this Apple WWDC with completely different outlook on it because obviously I'm now rocking the Omen. It's not bothering. I looked at it in a different way. Normally, I'm an Apple fan and I love all the new software updates and stuff. I love seeing the new features, but yeah, as I said, I was looking at it different. But in my response to both of these announcements, nah, is it really? So we're going to talk about WWDC first. Um, well, they did the usual Apple Watch updates and Apple TV updates. Don't really bother me. I've got a second generation Apple TV, the small 720p one, never upgraded, so that's not an issue. An Apple Watch is far too expensive. I'd be scared to wear it if I owned the damn thing. So yeah. So I ignored that bit, but then we get to the operating system updates, and the first one, High Sierra. I mean, they even joked about it in the announcement. High Sierra. What the hell is that about? They sent their engineers up to the Sierra National Park to get inspiration. No, they didn't. They sent them to the Apple spaceship campus with a massive bong, and someone was like, "Dude, I'm high." Someone was like, "Dude, we're meant to be working on Sierra." Yeah, I know, man, but like, high Sierra, dude, high Sierra. Yeah, that's cool, man. We're gonna do that. We're gonna call it High Sierra. And yeah, I mean, what kind of name is High Sierra? That's crap. Either way, you know it's just a minor update, under the hood update to Sierra. I mean, Sierra itself is not too bad, but OS 10 has really grown, in my opinion, has grown stale. I've used it since 10.4 Tiger, and what are we on now, like 10.13 or something like that? I mean, they need to drop the first 10 out of it, to be honest with you. They need to, now they've called it Mac OS, they need to just call it Mac OS 1, 2, 3, because 10.13 sounds a bit stupid, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. The OS 10 or Mac OS as it's called now. Apart from the liquor polish it got when it had the flat iOS look, was it in Yosemite? It still looks and feels exactly the same as 10.4. Now, arguably, you can say, well, that's good. It's continuity. You could give grandma an old PowerBook with 10.4 Tiger on it, and then give her a brand new MacBook Pro with High Sierra on it, and she'd be able to operate in the same way. So yeah, that's good. But I don't know. I just feel that Windows is a bit has caught up in I last used Windows properly before I got the Omen on the Windows XP days. And I have to admit, I would say Windows 10 has really caught up. If you ignore the fact that it's basically spyware, although OS 10 is basically spyware as well. I mean, the fact is, you got all the live updates. Look, I've got the news, the weather at a glance. My emails come through, and I get little just a little glance at what's come through without having to open the apps. Little things like that I like on Windows 10. I think are a very good little touch, and it makes Windows 10 feel more futuristic. But yeah, OS 10 is just really to be honest with you, I've pretty much forgotten all of the High Sierra stuff they announced because there wasn't a huge amount to it. Some tweaks to the photos. The big one, what stood out for me, was the Apple File the Apple File system, which then hard drives are going to be formatted, built-in encryption by default, so you don't have to run File Vault, which does have a slight slow impact. But I am running a old-fashioned hard drive rather than SSD, so obviously on an SSD you're probably never going to notice it, but on a hard drive you do. However, when he did the copy and paste exercise in the announcement, how quick that did it does give me hope that maybe the Apple File protocol might make the hard drive in the Mac just seem that little bit quicker. It might not. It was clearly obviously designed for an SSD, but you never know. It might bring some benefits, and that's about it on the High Sierra side. iOS 11 was the biggest disappointment for me because it's the 10th anniversary of the iPhone this year, and everyone was expecting it to. There it is. Going to be the laptop. Yeah, everyone was expecting iOS 11 to be quite a revolutionary change. Bring a lot of nice new features in it, bit of polish, everything else. They were expecting it to be quite a big update purely for the 10th anniversary, and it's basically, as I've seen it banded around in lots of forums, it's basically iOS 10.5. It's again not really much worth on it. There are a couple of good features, I have to admit, with iOS 11, which really do stand out. The first one for me is the extended use of live photos, because I've got an iPhone 6s and I love the live photos. At first, when they were first announced, I thought live photos were a bit of a gimmick, but having taken my phone to Disneyland and taken all the photos around Disneyland and then holding them and watching them come alive, it's absolutely awesome. I love it. And the fact is, the phone also combines the live photos, and has done since iOS 10. It combines all the live photos and your photos and makes a slideshow out of it, and that looks really awesome as well. But they've gone one further with the live photos, and they've actually added a feature that I've been begging, sort of in my head, begging for ages. And it's a case of, have you ever taken a photo and it's come out a bit blurry and it's just not right? But with the live photo, if you normally you would just delete the photo and try taking it again if you can. Otherwise, you just stick with a blurry photo. However, with the live photos, you take a photo and it might be blurry, but the live part of it is crystal clear. Well, now the best thing, and the one feature I think is absolutely awesome, is the fact that you can now use the live photo to combine with the actual photo to fix the exposure. So basically, like I've done it with the kittens. I've been trying to take photos of the kittens, and if anyone's ever tried photographing an animal, oh god, it's impossible. So yeah, you got a blurry photo of the kitten, but if you go back through the live element, there'll be a nice crystal clear shot where they're all in focus, and you can use it and to manipulate and edit the photo. And I think that's a brilliant little idea. And some of the little nifty features where you can make the live photos loop as a permanent GIF, or you can make them bounce, and they're pretty cool little features on the live photo side of things. And that's a very good idea. Then you've got the do not disturb whilst driving, and I think actually that is a bloody good idea. It's going to really appeal to the road safety campaigners. And what it does is when you get into a car, if your iPhone detects due to the Bluetooth stereo or whatever in your car that you're in a car, what it will do is it will completely lock itself down so you don't get any notifications at all whilst you're driving. So basically, it automatically activates the do not disturb mode. And it's clever how it does it. So if someone texts you, they it even replies back for you. It says, "I'm currently driving. I will reply when I stop." However, if this is an urgent message, please put the word urgent in front of it, and then it will allow it through. I think that's pretty nifty. Although being only restricted to the inbuilt messaging app is going to restrict it somewhat, because obviously, we live in a day and age of WhatsApp and all that, where everyone's using all these different messaging applications. They need to really expand the API so other developers can go, right, we need to put a canned message in when do not disturb while driving's active. And I think actually, though, that is a very good idea, do not disturb while driving. I have to admit, because I've got a Pebble smartwatch, if I'm driving, hands 10 to 2 on the steering wheel, if the phone vibrates in my pocket, I don't get my phone out of my pocket, the notification pops up on my watch. And I've got my hands on the steering wheel, and because I can partially see the screen whilst I'm driving, because my hands are in front of my face, I do naturally just glance at the screen. And I don't mean to do it, but it just takes your focus off it. And for people like me, the do not disturb while driving, I think is actually a very good idea, because I don't use my phone at the wheel. However, if I get a notification and it's there, I'll glance at it. Likewise, if it's sitting in the charging dock in the car, charging up, and a notification comes through like that, you instinctively glance because it's suddenly taken your eye. It's suddenly popped up in the corner of your eye. You instinctively glance down at it. And I think the do not disturb while driving is actually another very good feature. So it was live photos, do not disturb while driving, and that's about it really. AirPlay 2, that's a bit of a ball ache. AirPlay 2. They've announced this AirPlay 2 where you can use your iPhone and stuff like a Sonos where you can set up a multi-room setup. But supposedly you would need all new AirPlay devices or updates to your existing devices. That's like, why? Because iTunes has been able to do that for years. If you've got multiple AirPlay devices, in fact, I can show you it now. If you've got multiple AirPlay devices, you can actually make it play out of all of them at once. Look, there you go. That's all of them. And that is basically what AirPlay 2 is meant to do. So I don't know why you suddenly need a whole new set of equipment to take advantage of that. Unless there's some synchronization thing, I really don't know. Because, as I said, iTunes has been able to do it for years. So why you would suddenly need to go out and buy all new AirPlay devices just to take advantage of multi-room seems a bit stupid to me. And it is just Apple's, making a bit more coin out of the old licensing, isn't it? Really, we need to make more money somehow. We better. Oh, there you go. Well, let's make AirPlay 2. It's the same as AirPlay 1, but it's 2. That's it. It's one better than 1, isn't it? It's 2. We can sell more shit then, can't we? If we do it like that. And that just seems like a bit of a money grab, especially since iTunes has been able to do it for what? When did the Apple TV 2 come out with AirPlay? 2010? Was that so? What, 7 years ago it's been able to do that? So, yeah. The new control center on the bottom of the iPhone, that's pretty nifty, being able to control that. And it's got screen recording as well, so if you ever want to capture sort of in-game footage while you're playing your phone, that's pretty cool. So, yeah. That's WWDC's software announcements. And then hardware. Flipping 350 quid for a flipping speaker. A little 7-inch speaker. Flipping hell. They're like, we're promising superior audio quality, because they know Siri's not a very good flipping assistant. Cannot compare to like Alexa, where you can flip and shout at Alexa and she orders your tampons or whatever. It's ridiculous. 350 quid. Oh, yeah, it's better than all your Sonos and all that. For me, 350 quid, I can go out, buy a separate 5.1 AV receiver, a full speaker package, and a cheap AirPlay device, get far better sound quality, and probably still save money. Although I'm not the target audience for the new HomePod, The HomePod are obviously aimed at these hipsters who live in like studio apartments who have got like nothing in them, like minimalistic. And I mean, the thing is, mugs will go out and pay that kind of money for it. But for me, 350 quid for a tiny 7-inch speaker. Christ. My car's got bigger tweeters than that thing. I mean, by all accounts, it's meant to sound quite good, but, quite good, compared to like a full home cinema system with subwoofer and everything else. Yeah, I don't know. 350 quid just seems very hard to swallow. And then Apple's new hardware announcements. I'm not going to talk about the iMac Pro and whatever because I'm not a pro person. They're not aiming that at me. I don't create professional content. Christ, look at my amateur hour videos on YouTube. However, they have refreshed the MacBook and they turned around and announced it in the announcement. And the new MacBooks start at $300 less. Oh, that's nice, yeah. Oh, you must have finally realised that you were mugging people off too much. So you're gonna flip in. So you're gonna lower the price. Oh yeah. If only Apple worked like that. This is the first part, the interactive part of it. I don't know how well you can see this because I've got the screen shrunk. The 2016 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch, started at 1499. 2017 starts at 1299. However, you think, oh, yeah, they've saved 200 quid there. Oh, no. The 13-inch MacBook Pro in 2016 came with a 256GB drive minimum. The 2017 MacBook Pro, 128 gig. What the hell? Apple? Flipping! How penny pinching is that? I mean, what kind of Muppet company would put 128 gig non-removable, non-upgradable SSD in what is deemed a pro machine? I mean, crying out loud. I mean, 128 gig, a professional's going to fill that in about, what, 3 minutes with a couple, with some 4K video? 128 gig, the 256 is a bit on the low side. But 128 gig. The guys who decided that, they must have been smoking the same stuff as the guys who decided that High Sierra was a flipping good name. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just mugging people off. Okay, you're getting slightly faster clock speeds, but that's just processor increments. My Omen's got a slightly faster processor than last year's Omen, but in real world use, it's not much difference between the two. But another thing what's confusing is KB Lake is a full DDR4 chip. Why are they crippling it with LP DDR3? Why are they not putting DDR4 in it? I mean, is that they claim it's for power, but DDR4 if I recall correctly, I've seen it somewhere, but it uses less power than DDR3 anyway. So why are they not putting DDR4 in it? Why are they putting the latest generation chips in it, but then only selling it with flipping DDR3? I mean, it's probably not going to be a huge amount of bottleneck, but it just seems stupid giving you the latest 2017 chips, but then giving it flipping RAM from about 3 years ago. I don't know. It don't make sense at all. And then you've got the MacBook Air, which refuses to die a death, so that Apple can say we've got a affordable, in inverted commas, machine. I mean, what is that? 900 quid, I think it is, in the UK. And they've bumped the processor up ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. 100 megahertz it's given it. It's still a fifth generation. It's still a 2-year-old chip in it. It's a fifth generation processor compared to a 7. So they're selling 2-year-old hardware for more money than what, say, a Dell or a HP would be selling brand new hardware for. And don't get me wrong, people must still be buying it, but it just goes to show how flipping rip-off Apple has become lately. I remember a few years ago, you used to be able to get the white polycarbonate MacBook, which was it wasn't wasn't the most powerful thing in the world, but it was still fairly powerful. Yeah, you could get the white polycarbonate MacBook, and you could get them starting at about 700 quid. They were affordable because 700 quid was a nice starting point for the Mac, and then you went upwards accordingly. But now 900 quid or 950, whatever it is, being the entry level for a dated ultrabook, and I mean ultrabook specs are going to be old hat before anything else anyway, because they're low power to begin with. It's not like my MacBook Pro, which has got a third generation i5 in it. The only thing holding my MacBook Pro back is the fact that it's got a rotary hard drive in. If I shoved an SSD in it, then it would be, it would keep up with quite a lot of modern stuff. The fact is, these little these 15 watt TDP chips, they age quicker than anything else because they haven't got that much to begin with. So yeah, but we've already had the how much Apple rip off the customers gobbing off in one of the previous episodes. So we're not going to touch too much into that. So yeah, that's WWDC out of the way. Now to HP's announcement, the new Omens. Ugh, they've ruined it, in my opinion. I mean, this is gonna be a very divided. This bit is going to divide a lot of people. I own a HP Omen. I own a 2017 model, an early 2017 model, and mine is basically just a HP Pavilion in black with a red Voodoo logo on the back. It is just basically a black laptop. Um, and it doesn't, apart from the Voodoo logo, I don't like that Voodoo logo on the back, but I understand why it's there. It goes back to HP's Voodoo gaming legacy from when they bought the Voodoo gaming brand a few years ago. So whilst I would have preferred a red HP logo to match the red keyboard, I understand the Voodoo logo, and that is really the only gamer aesthetic thing about my laptop. I could take this into a hipster coffee shop and pop it on the desk and use it. Um, uh, Equally, I could take it to a LAN party and use it and wouldn't feel out of place in either place. However, HP's fighter jet Omen. Why? Why did you go and make it angular? Why? Why is with gaming laptops wanting to look like fucking fighter jets? I mean, you have to start to wonder. Obviously they're aiming these at kids, aren't they? Yeah, mummy and daddy are going to buy it for them. I mean, what are they doing? Why are they making it a fighter jet? I reckon there's subliminal messages. I reckon it's the U.S. Air Force. I bet if they're going, right, if we get these companies to make these laptops look like stealth bombers, these kids will be playing their Call of Duty on it and thinking, oh, that looks like a stealth bomber. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join the Air Force so I can go pilot a stealth bomber. I reckon that's got to be the only real reason. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's in all fairness, it's not the most terrible looking gaming laptop I've seen, but why? Why did they have to ruin it? I mean, they could have made this one with like that blushed aluminum effect, but kept it as a standard looking laptop. And I just said aluminum. I'm British. It's aluminium. Flipping Johnny Ive with his fake aluminum. No, it's aluminium. It's got a flipping U in it. But yeah, if they'd have done it, put that like metal effect on it, I reckon that would have looked, on the Omen that I've got's body, I reckon it'd look alright. I mean, to be honest with you, that it's not hideous. No, actually, no, it is. Why? Why did they ruin it? Why? Oh my God, look at that. I mean, Christ. For me, I just want a flipping laptop. Oh God, auto playing videos now as well. I just want a laptop that's, just a black laptop. A black laptop, black laptop with like a silver logo and a white backlit keyboard. Something that looks like I'm about to open it up and do some spreadsheets and stuff on it. But actually, I'm sitting there slaying on Grand Theft Auto 5 or something. I like the understated gamer look. I don't like this fighter jet. What I mean, why? I mean, why would you do it? Why would you make it look like... The thing is now, I mean, the Omen what I've got did blend in a bit, and I guess they had to do something to make it stand out, maybe. But I don't know. Now all the gaming laptops just all look the same. You know, you get one now from HP, and it looks the same as the one from Asus or MSI. It's all angular, and I mean, it looks like the Lenovo Y520 there. At that point, yeah, with the way the screen's got the central hinge and the gaps between it. You know, I don't know. I like the version that I've got personally. You know, as I said, don't get me wrong. The extra ports, you know, would have been nice. USB-C, but that's an optional Thunderbolt 3, which I can guarantee is probably an extra £100 to get a Thunderbolt 3. I mean, DTS Headphone X, that might be a bit cool to have, but, you know, I just don't like the way they've made this look. I mean, you know, no, it's just, yeah, why would they ruin it? I mean, that command center looks pretty good, but it looks like you can overclock that one. You know, you could use the command center to overclock all your processor and stuff, whereas this one has a non-overclockable processor, so that's a bit annoying. But the one thing here is currently the Omen in America starts at $799. And that one nets you, I believe, an i7 7700 HQ with a GTX 1052 gigabyte. The new version starts at $999, so they've priced it up. So whether they're going to keep the non-hideous gamer jet fighter thing like what I've got around for a bit longer and have that as the cheap entry level. But I mean, it starts at 999, so that's going to get you the RX 550, which compared to the 1050 isn't going to be as good anyway, because it goes RX 550, GTX 1050, and then GTX 1050 Ti. And yeah, it's starting at 999, so you can imagine the 1050 model is going to be about $1,100, isn't it? So they've made it. So what they've basically done, and I didn't notice that it's a TN screen as well. Oh bloody hell! Did they not learn from Dell's hideous TN screen, which everyone hated? I mean, this one's got an IPS screen, and the screen on this, whilst it's not the brightest in the world, you know, is not bad. I can look at it from whatever angle I want, and it still looks the same. But I mean, a TN screen as well. And Sat Singh, I can see. Yeah, don't worry, mate. You're not missing out on much by getting the older version. You think yourself lucky that you got the older version. So yeah, as I said, it's just I just don't know. I don't know. And then you've got the little gaming, the Omen backpack thing, which is they're saying that's going to be $2,500, but that's for VR, and I don't know whether. I mean, VR is expensive at the moment, and they're trying to push it like they used to the old 3D TVs. Whether it's going to take off, I don't know. I've heard some good things about VR, but at the moment, if you're having to buy 2.5 grand's worth of backpack PC and then like £1,000 worth of VR headset, it's kind of expensive. But you know, we'll see. The one good thing HP did announce is the graphics adapter. So they've now got this USB-C graphics adapter, like Razer's done with the Razer Core. But how HP have done it is they've added extra storage in as well. So not only can you put a beefier graphics card in, the new graphics dock from Omen now comes with a 1 terabyte hard drive and a 256 gig SSD in it, which actually is pretty cool because if you've got a 1 terabyte drive and a 128 SSD in your Omen, and then you plug it into your dock and you get another 1 terabyte and a 256, that's pretty good because what you could do is you could put the games you know would run on the lower hardware onto the laptop's hard drive, and then the ones you know that you'll only run when plugged into the external graphics dock, you'll leave dumped on the graphics dock, and then it'll work out like that. Now, I like the idea of these graphics docks, but A, they're bloody expensive at the moment. By the amount of money you spend on a graphics dock, you're not looking at much more to build a PC. And B, they improve the graphics side of things, but the processor will still let it down in my eyes. On my laptop, I've got the i5 7300 HQ, and I have the GTX 1050. Now I find that the i5 and the GTX 1050 bottleneck each other equally. So there are some games where the CPU and the GPU will be 100% maxed out on both. There'll be some games where the CPU is getting absolutely hammered, but the GPU is having a day off. And there'll be other games where the GPU is getting absolutely hammered and the CPU is not doing much. Either way, I think a graphics dock at the moment is not. I don't know. I just think it's a lot of money. Because what's the point in having a graphics dock with a 1080, a GTX 1080 Ti in it that is going to be bottlenecked by the mobile i7 or whatever you've got in there? I mean, obviously you're bottlenecked by your Thunderbolt anyway, especially if you're looping back to the screen. You don't get as much performance out of it as if it was plugged into a dedicated PC motherboard. But yeah, if your processor is also bottlenecking, you're going to end up having a GTX 1080 Ti running at the equivalent of a 1060 or something stupid like that if the processor's bottleneck. I mean, I see where they're going with it, but I don't know. I think there's more they could do. Maybe they could add like a co-processor onto it. So when you plug it in, you get a graphics boost and a processing boost. But the problem is at the moment, games still only really require 4 cores. Now, as I've discussed in the last episode, with Ryzen coming out and more cores becoming the norm, eventually games will take advantage of more cores. So, are we going to be looking at a future where you would have an i7 4-core 8-thread i7 in your laptop with a, I don't know, a 1050 Ti or 1060? Then you go home, plug it into your graphics dock, get your 1080 Ti, and then have a little co-processor which gives you an extra 4 cores, maybe. I don't know, but at that point, the expense of it all, if they were adding extra processors in it, it would be a case of, just buy a PC at that point. Because if it's got a processor, it's got a graphics card, you only need the RAM and a hard drive, and then you've got a PC, ain't you? So I don't know. I like the idea of graphics docks, but I just think I really don't know if they're worth it as much. I mean, the only one so far that's been pretty decent is the Alienware one because it latches straight onto a PCI lane. It doesn't use the Thunderbolt interface, so it gets a lot more performance out of it. But as I said, the mobile processors are what let them down at the end. As I said, the i5 bottlenecks the 1050 in my laptop as much as the 1050 bottlenecks it. So I can't see me plugging into an external GPU and getting much more performance than what I get now. And at that point, if you wasted what 200 quid on the dock and then 500 quid on your graphics card, it's like, okay, what's that for? An extra 2 frames a second or something stupid like that. I don't know. If you've had it better, if you've got a Razer core or whatever, and it does provide a massive boost and it is well worth it, then obviously let us know in the comments. But for me, from my experience with this laptop, I just can't see. I can see, as I said, in certain games, you will really notice the extra. And I think obviously it's more for 4K gaming, isn't it? Because when if you can, is it 4K offloads more to the GPU, isn't it? That's why AMD did the Ryzen benchmarks, and they went, "Oh no, you got to set the game at 4K." That's where we start to beat Intel. I think that's why, because obviously the CPU is being used less, isn't it? Because the GPU, I don't know, it's all bottlenecks and it's more complicated than I can be bothered to work out at this time of night. But yeah, as I said, I'm really disappointed with that new Omen. I think I don't know. Why did you have to make it look like a stealth fight? I mean, it looks like a fat beast anyway. I mean, look, the 15-inch one looks fatter than the one that I've got. The one that I've got is only a hair thicker than my 2012 MacBook Pro. Judging by the looks of that side per profile, it looks massive. In fact, it is massive. Let me have a look. The 15. That is massive because my USB. Yeah, that's huge. That is going to be a fat boy Big Bertha of a laptop. So the more I look at that, the more I'm thinking, I'm glad I got my Omen when I did. And I've got the more normal looking design. So, yeah. So that was WWDC and the HP Omen that released, my reactions to it. If you think I'm a complete and utter tool and got it all wrong and there's all sort, you think these new Omens are the bee's knees and they look awesome, then let us know in the comments below. It'd be interesting to see. Obviously, you can't run a poll on YouTube, I don't think, because it'd be interesting if you prefer that look of Omen versus, let me do it, the more subdued look of the Omen that I have, which is, bear with me a second, I did not plan this one in front. Haha, gaming. There you go. Or if you prefer this look of the Omen, the more rounded, normal laptop look. See, I prefer that look. In fact, is there a side profile shot on this? Look at it, it's thinner. Straight away, it's thinner. And I mean, I'm going to sound like an Apple fan here. Oh, it's thinner, it's thinner. But it is. It looks like it's a better laptop. Now, yeah, there you go, Sidewinder Snake. Yeah, they should have stayed. They tried that. Yeah, no, this one, as I said, ours is a nice look. I don't like that new jet fighter thing. I think it's just. I mean, look at that. That looks. It does have a gamer look to it, but it's not over the top. That thing is just jet fighter looks for the sake of jet fighter looks. Look at this. Look at our laptop. It's all got angular curves. As I said, I reckon it is subliminal messaging from the US Air Force. I bet they've said, right, computer manufacturers, you make your laptops look like our aeroplanes, and we'll give you a kickback. You know, subliminal recruiting and all that. That's the only explanation for it. There's got to be a company that actually makes a gaming laptop what actually looks and works as a laptop. Because I mean, as I said, this one looks and works as a laptop. It is a nice laptop to use. It's not too thick. I mean, as you can see, they haven't got a direct comparison from the side shot. But the 15-inch version of this one, I mean, that's the 15. It looks huge. I mean, it looks like it's going to break your legs if you actually attempt to use it on your lap. Compared to, they look like they've made it as fat as the current 17-inch model. This one, as I said, the one that I've got, and I'm not saying that because I own this one. I'm just saying that because overall, it looks like it's the better laptop. You know, you buy a gaming laptop because you want it as a laptop. You know, you want to be able to use it as a laptop. And I think, yeah, I prefer that one. But I want to know in the comments below if you've watched this. I want to know what you think. If you prefer 2017 refresh Omen Jet Fighter, or if you prefer 2016, 2017 rounded, nice look Omen. And as Sidewinder Snake, the original Omen 15. Let me see if I can find it. It was 2014, wasn't it? It was released. Or 2015. The 2015 model was a quite a nice looking model, actually. Yeah. See, that doesn't look overly over gamer. Oh, please tell me that doesn't actually light up like that. I'd never. No, that does, doesn't it? No, I don't like that. I like the trapezoid look and I like the Hewlett Packard logo on it. But if it lit up like that, that's just That's just stupid. I mean, I like the look of that from behind. It looks like a nice laptop, actually. But please tell me it doesn't light up like that. Please tell me Tech Radar just made it light up like that. No, it does. It lights up like that. No, I think the Omen that we've got, the Omen that I've got, that one is the better looking one. I think out of the three generations of it, I think the middle one, whilst it doesn't feel or look like a premium gaming laptop, it is just a reskin Pavilion. I like the subdued look about it. A lot of people complained when they released this one compared to, they liked the trapezoid evil aggressive look of the original one, but I like this one. I like the fact that it is an understated laptop. The thing is, design wise, I like the Dell 7567. That in black with the red Dell logo looks really nice. Yes, you've got the big vents on the back, but they're a necessity. And the big vents on them are the only things that doesn't really, which actually really looks gamery. The thing is, I don't get all this hype about RGB and all that. You watch Linus Tech Tips and Jay's 2 Cents and flipping Austin Evans and all that, and they've all got these bloody PCs that look like they belong in the flipping Death Star. I mean, why do you need it all lighting up? Well, if I was to build a gaming PC, I'd save the money on the crap LEDs, and I would build just a plain black box and just stick it with all the hardware I can put in it. I just don't get. Unless you were, as I said, unless you were going to like a gaming PC laptop willy waving convention where the most zany over the top design wins you points and prizes or whatever, then maybe I can see it. But sitting in the house, I don't get the whole idea of an RGB PC. I just like I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just. Oh, I sound like an old man. Get off my lawn. um. Uh, Well, if you put an RGB in your PC, then so be it. As it says, each to their own. Personally, if I was building the PC, in fact, Dell have actually just released a PC, the new Inspiron gaming desktop, and I quite like the look of that in gaming desktop. And it's got a little gamer hint. It's got a little hint that it's a gamer machine. No, that's not it, is it? Is it that one? See, that's not bad. You can actually get it with that glass panel, just the continued vent. But I like that one more than I like some of these other, like that the new Omen looking thing. I prefer that because it just looks like a normal PC. Yeah, okay, it's got the blue LEDs, but you can get a version. They have said you'll be able to get a version without that glass panel and just a white LED in it. I prefer that over, now where is it on here? I prefer that over desktop gaming. Oh, where's the Omen desktop? Damn it. HP Omen. I did not prepare this. Saying that though, I do complain about the game aesthetic. I did think this one looked pretty cool. I liked the Omen X. I thought that one did look pretty cool, but where's the? That's the new one. I would, if I had the choice of buying that one or that one, I'd go for the Dell. And as I said, I'd go for it without the little flashy window as well. I'd just go for just a standard looking thing because I don't know. Yeah, it just looks. Yeah. As I said, they're trying with these laptops and PCs to make them. I don't know. Are they trying to appeal to children? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm only 32, and I'm talking like I'm a 64-year-old. But no, I don't know. I like understated. You know, I would rather have, I would rather have a car that looks like a normal. I would go out and buy something like, I don't know, a Ford Focus ST, which looked and felt and handled like a family car. But then when I wanted to put my foot down, it would absolutely, it would spank it off the line, and I could spank it round corners. I'd buy something like that than going out and say buying a Mustang, because I prefer the understated look. That's my personal opinion. I prefer understated rather than flashy and in your face. And that's like that with laptop. If I could get just a plain black laptop, white backlit keyboard with a little, just a standard logo on the back from HP or Dell, I would go for that. I would go for that any day of the week, because I'd rather have that, and then you could take it anywhere. You could take it to your grandma's house, if you're staying over there for the weekend. Like my in-laws live up in Bolton, you see, so I quite often go over and we go off, stay over there at Christmas. If I took this laptop up there, probably wouldn't bat an eyelid to it. But if I took one of those MSIs or one of the new Angular Omens with the keyboards that lit up all multicoloured, and they'd look at me and be like, "What the heck is that?" And I don't know. I like the understated look. I do like just a nice, clean look. So yeah. Well, that is. I think that's all I've got to say. I could keep going on, but I'll just go around in circles. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and let us know what you think in the comments below. What if you prefer the Omen desktop versus the Inspiring Gaming desktop? Yeah, there you go. That's the new one as well on this. That's the Inspiring Gaming desktop. So if you prefer the Omen versus the Inspiron, and if you prefer the 2016, early 2017 Omen versus the fighter jet thing. So I'll be interested to see what the comments section of this thread looks like once it's uploaded as a video. So thanks guys for watching, and thanks to my guys on live chat as well. I haven't been talking to myself. For those who go and watch this later, I do these podcasts live, so I do have an audience on the old chat. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.